Hello, this is Andrew. I am Stand in Stan's editor and producer. I got him out of retirement and now I'm in charge of editing his videos because he can't edit for shit. This is all my fault. I found the stream, gave it to them, and then they responded to it. So YMS, you're welcome. This is a condensed version of him and Confused Matthew reacting to YMS's reaction to Confused Matthew's reaction of the original Lion King movie. I'm just putting this at the front to say, please don't get hostile about any of this because everybody here gets on. It's just a friendly disagreement. There's no name calling, and Standing Stan and Confused Matthew will possibly be featuring on a stream of YMS's in the near future, and we will be using this as a springboard to talk about some things on mine and Standing Stan's podcast, The Limey and the Yank, in the next week or so. Thank you and enjoy.
So how's everybody doing? We're about to talk about your movie success, free lambasting of my brother's thing. I saw part of it. I've already seen part of it, and I felt oddly compelled to come talk about it.
I have to say, I am astounded that anyone thinks this is worth responding to anymore. I guess I'm kind of mildly flattered, but I don't do Confused Matthew anymore, and I'm actually very surprised that anyone, because Your Movie Sucks, that's a pretty big YouTube channel, and I'm surprised that anyone thinks that anything I have to say is important enough to comment on. So I'm sure this isn't going to be flattering to me, but this is actually kind of astounding to me. I never dreamed in a million years that anybody of a high profile would give a shit about what I had to say, so that's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting to consider the fact that a lot of people were inspired by your stuff, like a lot of YouTube and a lot of online. I can't tell you how many people I've met that remember me, which is weird to me, because you were a small creator to begin with. I was even smaller. So yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, it was something I did as a lark, and I guess it went on to inspire people either because they thought, oh wow, that's really interesting, I'd like to do that too, or I think more the case was people that said, well, if this fucking idiot can do this,
he says that. I'm not kidding. He actually says that.
Does he really?
Yes, he does.
Oh,
yeah.
Good for you, dude. Good for you.
Yeah. Hold on.
Ride that mantle of spite.
That was my first thing. Is yep.
I swear I haven't seen this.
Let's see. You know what? Let's get to it. I'm gonna. Chris says, "Give yourself some credit, Dan. You and Gabe have done some of the best and thorough reviews on YouTube." Oh, that's very nice.
You're very nice, Chris. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Let's get to it.
6 minutes is just saying, like, man, I deleted this review and re-uploaded it because people missed it, but I originally deleted it because I know that it's bad, and the only reason that it's bad is because I was making videos that I didn't expect people to watch that weren't already friends with me. It's like, I was making videos for, like, my mom. I feel mean right now. I don't want to be mean.
So he just said that you had said that you were just making this for your people who were already friends with you, and one of the things he said was, I was just making this for my mom. And the funny thing is, we would never make anything for our mom, but you were kind of making it for me. It was sort of
I was making it for you and Stacy and I was making it for
because at the time you were living all the way in Fairfield, and I was living all the way.
No. I was living in Sacramento.
Or Sacramento. That's right. Yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting all the places you live. You're living in Sacramento, and I was living down in the Central Valley. And the kind of stuff, this whole Lion King review thing, is the kinds of conversations that you and I used to have. And so this was a way back then, before the era of even Facebook and cell phones and all that, or like there were cell phones, but there wasn't like instant messaging and stuff like that. It wasn't as common. This was kind of a way to keep the the vibe alive with that kind of thing. So no, he's right there too.
Well, you know what I think he thinks? I think he thinks that I did that preamble just to cover my ass. I think he thinks I did that preamble to say, well, you can't criticize that review for this review for being bad because I'm saying it's bad. So yeah, it's bad, but I'm saying it's bad. So yeah, I think that's what he thinks. So and he's free to think that. I mean, I can't prove otherwise. So all I can say is, no, I really was just making it for my friends. Yeah. And also, I was making it because YouTube had just started, and I mean, at the time, YouTube was not what YouTube is now.
No.
YouTube was just like, yeah, oh, look at this, you can make your own channel, and you can do whatever you want to do. Oh, okay, I got a weird opinion about The Lion King. Oh, that sounds fun. And today, oh my god, I wouldn't no. No. If I was gonna do something on YouTube, it would not be that. It would not be anything. But no, it's really just
like I wouldn't normally do this type of thing to somebody who's like a really small creator, but Confused Matthew is actually like a very like influential reviewer for the YMS channel. Because I watched this review before I ever had a YouTube channel. So yeah, 2008. Probably watched this review sometime in 2009. And I saw his subscriber count, and he had like 9,000 subscribers or something like that. And I watched this review, and I was like, if this guy can get 9,000 subscribers, I can fucking do that. That was literally like what can... That was like not even kidding. That was like one of the moments for like creating my YouTube channel, was watching the Confused Matthew Lion King review and being like, if this gigantic piece of shit can get views. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, this, if Confused Matthew didn't exist, then YMS would not exist. You know his words will get you
I'm singing, everybody. I'm singing.
The film will ever go. Please take a moment of your time. He'll tell you what's wrong with the show. He knows what's good, what's bad, what's really bad. His face is just a sign. Say hello to Confused Matthew. What I love about this persona is that it's in the title. Everything you need to know is in the title. He's very confused, right? It's so self-descriptive. It's like, it's unintentionally perfect.
I've hated...
So I actually just want to expound on that for a minute. The Confused Matthew, the name Confused Matthew was actually supposed to indicate the whole thing was that Dan, you have this thing where you don't understand why, you're very confused as to why things were popular when you see so many flaws in them, which was the confused part of the Confused Matthew. But I mean as a meme, what he's saying is actually perfect.
As a meme, what he's saying is hilarious. No. I made that very easy for everyone. I mean, it's so easy. Like, well, it's right there in the name.
He's confused.
Yeah. I call bullshit on one thing. I never had 9,000 subscribers. That cannot possibly be right. I don't remember ever having that many subscribers in my life. If I had 9,000 subscribers, that's insane. If I had 9,000 subscribers, that is absolutely... At the time that I did the Lion King review, that's gotta be wrong. Aside from that, I take no issue with anything else that he said.
Like, this channel, and I'm trying not to be a bully, I'm trying not to be mean, but like, this channel, I've already explained that it quite literally inspired me to start my own review channel, So like this and Red Letter Media. Red Letter Media for positive reasons. This one for not positive reasons. This channel, the way that he justifies his feelings towards films is literally him just like not understanding the intent of the filmmaking or the director.
To his point, what I would say is exactly what you said. I actually don't care what the filmmaker's intent was. My issue is with whether or not they actually did what they set out to do, or if what they set out to do was good, or if what they said, and that's really all I'm talking about. With regard to the Lion King, my issue isn't so much that what they set out to do was bad. My issue is that what they set out to do just missed the mark.
It didn't work,
so
yeah.
many times. Yeah. But this is why I think you said that he's going to talk about the remake later, and something about I might
He
like.
mentions it, yeah.
Okay. Well, the remake I thought was worthless. I don't think the original Lion King was worthless. I think the original Lion King I understand. I may be alone in thinking this, but even if I'm alone in thinking that they completely missed the mark, I understand that because they at least tried to do something artistic. And there are four aspects to the Lion King essentially: the story, the characters, the art, and the soundtrack. I like 2 out of 4 of those, and 2 out of 4 of those I don't think I could live without. The animation is incredible, and the soundtrack. Didn't care for the story, didn't care for the characters. I can't think of a single reason to watch the remake, even though it fixed a lot of the problems that I had with the original Lion King. I'd still rather watch the original because there is more artistic merit there, even if they missed. But that's not really what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the Lion King in this like quasi review format. I'm just talking about I just don't think that they did what they did especially well.
Yeah.
I'm also really tired of talking about this movie, and I think a lot of people are tired of me talking about this movie. But I mean, so yeah, he's free to think that, but we're of 2 different minds on that.
Sure.
I'm not really interested in what the intent of the author was. I'm interested in how well this actually worked in practice.
I agree. All right, here we go.
That's pretty much every complaint that could be boiled down. So if you watch it, I don't know if this is still on YouTube or if he re-uploaded it or anything. He used to be on Blip TV, which is what I was on when I had those on my website. And if you can find his like No Country for Old Men review, literally like the entire thing is him showing clips of like slower paced moments that are building tension, and him going like, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening right. Like he'll show the scene of Anton Chigurh, and it's like the camera's pointed down at his feet as he's going up to the trailer. And he's like, nothing's happening. Why is nothing happening right now?
So Anton cleans his wound. Anton cleans his wound. Anton cleans his wound. Anton cleans his wound. No, stop telling me to shut up. If you were happy watching this in the film, you should be perfectly happy watching a description of this in the film.
And it's like, you literally just don't understand pacing. You literally don't understand tension building, right? And it's fine to... It would be more okay if at any point he acknowledged that that's what the attempt of the filmmaking was, but he disagreed with how it was being carried out. But it really, like, in his videos, it just seems like he doesn't even understand what the intention of the scene is, right?
Oh god, he played a clip. He played a clip. What are you doing to me, dude? He played a clip.
Well, here,
I mean, I made it. I got to cop to it. No, he's absolutely right.
Well,
I actually
hold on, because no, listen. I have to say, I think that the underlying complaint that you had was that Anton Chigurh, what of those characters were all deadpan. The ability for them to create tension was kind of moot because the performances were deadpan, and we didn't know these guys, and they didn't give us anything. Now,
No. It's different than that. It's different than that. My feelings on The Lion King are very different than my feelings for No Country.
no, I'm talking. I'm just talking about No Country for Old Men.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, don't even talk about that because I hate that review and everything I said
but I'm
was
just
stupid.
saying.
Right.
This
Okay,
is the
but hang
thing.
on. Let me explain.
Uh-huh.
Let me explain. And I've said this before. I've reiterated this so many times. Confused Matthew was something that I did as a lark for fun for a few years. It was supposed to be from Back to the Future Part 2 to Star Trek Generations, and then that was it. I was going to stop because I had a handful.
For our mom.
I made it for well, no. I originally started making it for our mom. When I stopped making it for our mom is when I started doing the prequel reviews, and I actually did gain an audience, and people actually cared what I thought about.
But by the way,
like,
we're joking right now. None of this was for our mom. That was something Adam said that we thought was funny.
But, no, it wasn't. That was very funny. No, I had. So The Lion King was, oh, this is a movie that everybody likes except me, and then that got. I won't say it got a positive reaction, but it got a reaction, and people said, do more of this, and I was like, oh, okay, what other films do I have that everybody liked except me? Well, not the prequels, but I already said that I was going to do those, and so I did. And then, like, I think I did the Matrix sequels, and then I had a handful of films that everybody liked except me, and then I was just going to do those, and I was going to be done. And then I'm telling you, only at the tail end of Confused Matthew, like at the end of like the last year that I was doing, or the fuck am I trying to say? Towards the end, I had 10,000 subscribers. I didn't have those during The Lion King, and a lot of people wanted me to do more, and I was actually making money. And, that's actually important for somebody who doesn't really have money. So I was like, okay, I guess I could keep this going, and Blip is a thing now, but I just talked about all the films that everybody liked except me. What the fuck do I do now? And so I just resorted to talking about movies that I simply didn't like. And No Country for Old Men was just a movie that I didn't like, and the reason I didn't like is because I do fucking think that it's just Anton cleaning his wound. I don't think that it has anything to do with pacing. I think the entire pace of that film was fucking dead, but that's just me. I just don't like that style. I don't like the way that they did that film. That doesn't really have anything to do with the film as such. I don't think they did anything wrong. They just did it in a way that I didn't like. So that's a little bit different. Comparing my feelings of No Country, comparing my feelings for No Country for Old Men, which I haven't seen or thought about in years, to The Lion King, which I have thought about for many years. Not exactly comparable. However, he's not wrong. That No Country for Old Men thing was fucking stupid.
Well, let me interject a little bit here too, because you not liking that kind of style is something that you and I actually have contentions about, because you are the kind of guy who doesn't like it when a movie doesn't get to the point. And it seems like you're the kind, not just movies, books too. I've tried to get you to read certain fantasy novels that you're like, get on with it. And it seems like you're the kind of guy who doesn't like it when a movie doesn't just. I'm very big on show don't tell, and No Country for Old Men was almost all show don't tell. So I was a little bit more sympathetic to it in that sense than you were, but it really does just boil down to our personal taste.
Kind of. I don't like it when a movie doesn't have anything to say, is my issue. And I think I was wrong to say that No Country for Old Men didn't have anything to say just because it told its story the way it told it. I was completely wrong about that. No Country for Old Men did have something to say.
Fine, good.
And The Lion King had something to say as well. I just don't think it conveyed what it was trying to convey well.
I agree with you there.
Jump a ways in time to when Simba is a little kid. It's here that we really meet Simba for the first time, and, well, let me give you a quick synopsis of how we're introduced to this character. Come on, Dad, let's go do what I want to do. No, Dad, you're sleeping. That's not what I want to do. Get up and let's go do what I want to do.
So he goes on to further justify why the film is bad because Simba acts like a real kid. and like I have to imagine, like, wait a minute. Like, did you not have any flaws as a child? Like, you were like the most perfect child that ever existed,
I like that
and that you didn't grow up. Like, that's part of the character's arc, right? Like that's something that is essentially crucial to like the film, is that Simba has an arc.
I thought you said that he was going to be reacting to my re-review.
I think what this is, I might have got confused. I think what this is that he watched your re-review and he watched the original and somebody spliced in his reactions, but I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, okay, because I'm so tired of talking about this. I addressed so much of this in my review. Okay, here's the thing. I think he's wrong to say that Simba has an arc. Simba doesn't have an arc. Simba is a little brat, and he continues to be a little brat until his dad talks to him, and then maybe his dad got through to him, maybe he didn't, we don't know, but after the dies, and then it moves on to a completely different...
A totally different person, yeah.
Just a totally different conflict. Now this is a kid who thinks he's responsible for his dad's death, and then he runs away, and then he has to learn to face his problems and not run from them, and then he comes back, and then he realizes that, oh, I actually didn't have any problems to face anyway, because Scar just tricked me, so he actually doesn't learn anything. Okay, from the time that the movie opens to the time that Mufasa dies, that's the end of the Simba arc. There is no arc there. He was just a bratty little kid, and then his dad died, and then it moves on to something else. I think that's completely wrong. Second of all, I'm not saying the movie is bad because Simba is a bad kid. And to the issue that, oh, Simba is exactly like a little kid, let me put it this way. Imagine that The Lion King was about two warring lion prides. There's Mufasa, who has little Simba, and there's this other lion who has a little lion cub.
A little what? I'm sorry, you cut out.
A little lion cub. A little lion cub. And that little lion cub is a good, nice little kid who just wants to do, well for the kingdom or whatever, blah, blah, blah. He's nicer than Simba is, whatever. If you wanted to make Simba the villain in that story, you would not have to change anything about his character.
Right.
You could keep him exactly the way he was. Right. The only reason that little Simba is the hero is because the movie says that he's the hero. I would sincerely like to know what good qualities that either it's Adam, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that Adam or anyone actually saw in little Simba, because if all you're saying is, if your defense isn't no, Simba is a good character, if your defense is instead, well, yeah, he's an asshole, but he's an asshole with an explanation, why aren't we saying that about Draco Malfoy? Why aren't we saying that about Joffrey? Why aren't we saying that about Eric Cartman? There are all kinds of bratty kids that are just brats.
Joffrey wasn't exactly just bratty. Joffrey was a psychopath.
Okay, that's a little... But he was... No, because he was a psychopath with an explanation. I mean, yeah, he's a psychopath, but I mean, he was raised by the what the fuck stupid
Lannisters, and he was inbred, and
yeah.
Sure,
and he was inbred. He was raised that way. So yeah, that is an explanation for why Joffrey is the way he is. By the way, I'm not saying Simba is as bad as Joffrey. I'm just saying we could play that game with every negative character that you could possibly make, but there's nothing positive about little Simba.
I think one of the aspects of this is the fact that they had cast Jonathan Taylor Thomas to do the voice, and so we were sort of automatically supposed to see this as cute, lovable scamp like his character on Full House or whatever stupid show he was on.
Speaking
Home Improvement.
Yeah, and there was a trend in the early to mid '90s that I personally found very, very distasteful, which was trying to make cute kid characters by making them smart alecky little brats, and I couldn't stand that. So I will admit, not liking Simba is my problem.
Well,
absolutely,
I didn't like him, but I didn't like him either, and I didn't have the same problem with the Bart Simpson era that you did, and I didn't like him either, and I was genuinely, I didn't understand where this movie was coming from with the character in the beginning. And then you're right, as soon as his dad dies, he just the movie just completely moves on to something else.
It's a different conflict.
Yeah.
What I would expect, and I said this in the re-review, just this is a very frustrating video to watch because I've already addressed a lot of this. If someone was introducing a Simba-like character, I would expect the Emperor's New Groove story, where the conflict is he needs to become a better person and learn how to be more empathetic and blah. But the little baby Simba character who's a little brat, that whole issue gets dropped as soon as Mufasa gets dropped.
Well, the problem too is that he doesn't his supposed arc that they manufacture. We don't see it happening. They simply tell us that it happened. His supposed arc isn't to learn to be empathetic and less selfish and more responsible. His arc is to not let the past bother him, but the thing that happened in the past wasn't even, it was a trick. It wasn't even his responsibility to begin with, like factually. So that's not even something he really needed to move on from anyway. You're right. If he had to learn empathy and to be responsible, that actually would have been something. Okay, let's get back to Adam.
Right? He grows up, and he not only grows up literally, but he grows up figuratively. He grows up and matures in an emotional and logical, mental way. You know, like he begins. He goes through a transformation where he starts to understand what is important to him, and he stops running away from his problems. Right? You can't have an arc if the character starts out perfect to begin with. But Confused Matthew wants a film where the main character is literally perfect at the very beginning of the movie, and even as like a child, as like whatever, a 7-year-old, let's say, even as a 7-year-old, they're supposed to be like the most perfect la-di-da, kind and caring, like no conflict, no nuance, right?
No, it's not about being perfect. It's about not being fundamentally unlikable.
Oh yeah, it's it's one of those things where it's like, man, if you got what you want, the movie would be so bad. If every movie was what Confused Matthew wanted it to be, every movie would be so fucking shit.
I'm sorry. I just have to say, I don't think that your criticism of the Simba character applies to all movies. I think it's pretty specifically directed.
Well, here's the thing. This is a very frustrating experience for me because this response is not appreciably different from any other response to this review that I've seen. Which is why I did the second review to try and address some, because I mean we can. So a lot of people have made some good points. He's made some good points. I don't agree about the Simba character. Little Simba did not have an arc. Nothing in Simba's childhood had anything to do with what happened to Simba as an adult. That started when Simba ran away. It did not start when Simba was being a little brat. But one of the things that I hear often, which always amuses me, is because I didn't want one extreme of a character, which was this absolute shit-faced little brat fucker that was just fucking everyone's day up all the time until his dad told him to stop, I naturally want the opposite extreme, which was this la-di-da. That was a funny edit, by the way. Really that was funny as fucking shit. No, I want some middle ground. Have you been keeping up with Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No, not a drop.
I see. Okay, well, there was an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm where Larry got very, very upset with a coffee shop, and so he started his own coffee shop, like, directly across from, like, literally in the same building across from the other coffee store, and he started just practically giving his coffee away so that it would ruin the other coffee place's business, and he literally called it a spite store. He literally just opened it out. He had no interest in it. And that is, I'm starting to realize that is what YourMovieSucks.org is. This is Adam's spite store. I created the spite store. This is absolutely hilarious.
I love it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's keep going.
When I think of the heroes in the last 3 Disney films, I can see that they all have something in common. They were all genuinely good people who had lots of hopes and dreams.
Yeah, you didn't see them as fucking toddlers either. We started out with Ariel as an adult. We started out with Belle as an adult. We started out with Aladdin as an adult. What are you talking about?
Probably should have started with Simba as an adult then, because the thing that you did with him as a child was pretty shit.
Yeah. If I don't know if this is ever going to get back to Adam, and I don't know if this is important enough for him to
I hope
respond.
that
But
it doesn't, because this
well,
live stream looks and sounds like absolute garbage, and I would hate for people to have
yeah,
to look at
yeah.
it.
After spending about 3 hours trying to level out all of your fucking audio, I can confirm it sounds like shit.
Go
But
ahead.
if he is, I heard what you were saying. You know nothing of my work. You claim my whole fallacy's wrong. How you got it? No, I'm sorry. I was doing the Woody Allen thing. No. Okay. So, yeah. Once again, it's just that thing of, because I don't like one extreme, it means that I must like another. And he's like, oh, you don't like a character who you don't instantly love. At what point were we supposed to love Simba? Like, was it because the first time that I ever actually found myself even slightly warming to the character was that wonderful scene where Mufasa had a talk with him. That was a really, really, really good scene. And that was the first time I was like, oh, okay, now this kid's kind of getting some sound advice, and he's actually listening to it, and that was great. And then Mufasa dies, and then the film again moves on to a completely different conflict. Now it's not about whether or not Simba is going to be a good kid or not. Now it's about him not running away from his problems,
him
which
being
has nothing to do
gaslit
with
and
him
eventually
being
learning that he was
gaslit,
gaslit.
yeah, which had absolutely nothing to do with the first third of the film.
Yes,
This is what makes this kind of thing very frustrating.
I
This
don't
is
think
why I
it's
usually
frustrating. I think it's fun.
well, I don't. It is fun, but I don't like doing things like this because Adam isn't here to defend. This is somebody reacting to something that somebody else said. He can't retort, and if he does retort, it's going to be later through a pause and to a start and stop thing like this. And I don't like that. I'd much rather just have a conversation.
But that's what
with
he
someone.
did with your video. That's not mean. There's nothing mean-spirited about that.
It's not mean-spirited,
Well,
but
there's
it's
nothing
not as
unfair about it.
No. It's just not. It's just
You know
not.
what? I guarantee you this. If Adam ever wants to come on the 1,000 subscriber stand-in stand channel and talk to you about it, I'll invite both of you to come on. Okay?
Fantastic.
If you're like a fucking 7-year-old, you'd watch Simba and you'd be like, hell yeah.
Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so he said 7. Come here. Hey, talking to this microphone, okay? How old are you?
I'm 6 years old.
Do you like The Lion King?
Yes.
Do you like Simba?
Yes.
Do you think Simba's a really cool character?
Yeah.
Thank you, mister. You can go back to your Nintendo. Okay, well, Adam was correct about that one.
Man, oh man.
He's got it there.
Everybody's getting on me today.
This scene then rolls into the most pointless villain song I've ever heard in my life. The only thing we learn in this song is that Scar is using the hyenas to try to take over the Pride Lands. We know. That's what he just tried to do. So after this...
Was it... What? That's a lie! That's actually a lie, because this song is about him not just like taking over the Pride Lands, but like him planning on killing Simba and Mufasa.
They're upset about not...
Which, like, also, by the way, like, previous to this scene, because I have this movie fucking memorized, previous to this scene, like, you didn't really understand that Scar is trying to take over the Pride Lands at all. You didn't know that. After Mufasa comes and saves Simba and Nala, it just pans up to Scar looking up there. There's a lot up to interpretation in that, right? What's funny is if this song didn't exist...
Hang on, I'm behind you. Can I say something?
He would be...
Yeah.
Okay. I love the Be Prepared song. I love that whole thing. I was absolutely enraged that they didn't put it in the remake because it's one of the... It's as far as, you know, visually and as far as the music goes, it's one of the best scenes in the movie. I still say that's redundant. Because, no... He's saying, no, that's not true. They're talking about killing Mufasa and Simba. They were trying to kill Simba. I mean, I guess the only extra information that we're given in Be Prepared is that they were also going to kill Mufasa. I think Scar's plan was just to have the hyenas kill Simba at first, and then he would be next in line
in succession.
And now he's going to go a little bit farther and kill Mufasa as well. but I still think that scene was redundant. We weren't given all that much more information than we already had, and it was a long scene. But it was a good scene. So I don't know. I think I addressed that in the re-review. I didn't really talk that much about it in the re-review because that was a very minor point. I think I made a lot of minor points in that first one. But yeah, no, I still stand by that. I still think it's redundant.
Okay, here we go.
So confused. There's no way he would know just by a pan-up shot of Scar being there. Based on the other reviews I've seen from this person, he wouldn't be able to interpret that. Like,
So after this gratuitous scene, we then see Scar taking Simba to a rock in the middle of nowhere. Now to keep this brief, I'll just sum this up for you. Hyenas cause stampede, Simba gets caught up, father saves his life, Scar kills father, Simba very sad. This is in fact supposed to be one of the saddest moments in cinematic history, but I just didn't see it that way. I mean, it's a little kid who just lost a parent. That has a default setting of being generally sad. But since we don't like Simba, and we didn't know Mufasa very well...
But since we don't like Simba...
Aladdin was a horrible liar. He faked his identity to get a lay.
That's also true. Like, he stole from people. He was stealing from people, like, from the first scene.
Whoa, yeah, but but he wasn't stealing from people for shits and gigs like Simba was acting like an asshole for shits and gigs. You gotta steal to live. You gotta live to eat. I'll tell you all about it when I got the time.
So how do you not apply that same logic that you're applying to Simba to...
Because it's a different circumstance, because it's a different kind of person. He's stealing because he has to. He's not stealing because he thinks he just wants to treat everybody like garbage.
Or Ariel, or... Right?
I'm convinced that this dude doesn't watch movies, he reads Cliff Notes and then tries to criticize it.
I know he watches the movie, he just... It's okay for him to not like the movie, but the way he justifies it as though it's logical in any way is kind of infuriating.
I just want to say for the record, and I'm speaking for myself, Stan is speaking for himself, it's okay for Adam to like the movie, but the way he justifies it as being logical is really aggravating.
What follows this is the most underexplained moment in the entire film, and that's a big deal because it's also one of the most crucial points in the film. What in all fucking hell makes Simba think that this is his fault?
Because he roared! Because he roared!
But that was so stupid. Hold on. Let's keep going.
Scar told him to practice his little roar!
Yes, that means it's Scar's fault! That means Scar told you to do that, you did it, why do you think that's your fault? Besides, I'm not even 100% convinced that that's why he thought it was his fault to begin with. Like, the movie was so unclear in that part about when everything started running, and then we all just kind of forgot, no, this was Scar's, even if that's the case, even if what you're saying is true, that means that he would think it was Scar's fault. I was just doing what Scar told me to do.
Well, I'll tell you, this is something that I addressed in the re-review, because I've thought a lot about this, actually. And I actually think some of the people who say that Simba couldn't really understand because he was too young, that does carry some weight. I mean, also, he just went through a traumatic event of having his dad die, so he's probably pretty receptive to basically anything that anyone's telling him right now, because he's in, like, the lowest possible, like, the most vulnerability that he is in the entire film. And then by the time he gets to Timon and Pumbaa, he doesn't really have time to process, because they take him in and they teach him different things, and I don't know. I think maybe I was probably just holding a kid to more of a higher account than I should have, and I addressed that in the re-review. This isn't just Adam. A lot of people had talked to me about this, and I think that they're probably more right than wrong. So I might just go ahead and concede that.
I stand by the fact that I think that makes no sense. I think that the average person, if that happened to them, would try and run back to their parents before they ran away if they were told something really shady like that. I don't know. I'm still in the 2008 confused Matthew Camp on that one. I don't think that makes any sense. Scar told him to stay there and practice his roar. He was doing what an adult was telling him. That
No. That I get. I think the whole thing was set up really badly. I think most of the things in The Lion King were set up really badly. The only thing that I'm finding frustrating about this, I think this is very amusing, and I think this is very funny and entertaining to watch. The only thing that I'm finding frustrating is, he's not really giving any counterpoints. He's just saying, oh, he didn't understand this. There was this arc. He didn't understand this. There was this arc. But he's not saying what the arc is. And he's not. That's. It's just.
well, because there isn't one.
I don't think there is. Yeah, but anyway, this is actually pretty entertaining. Let's finish it up.
It's good.
Let's
He's
just
a
go.
good. Sorry, I have very little experience of this guy's material outside of the what was the thing? The cat thing? Why can't I think?
Yeah. The cool cat thing.
Cool
I saw
Cat.
that too. I thought that was a very
I've
good
very
movie.
little. Never seen this guy much outside of Cool Cat. He's really got a cool little style. I like him.
And then Simba was like, "Rawr!" And then he looked, it echoed in the canyon, and then he looked up, and then the fucking stampede happened, and that's why he thought it was his fault.
I mean, maybe. You definitely could see it that way. That didn't come across to me that way when I saw it. I mean, I was 14, so who knows, but I don't know. The whole thing was set up so badly that I don't know. Anyway.
Like he caused the stampede,
He
and the
thought
only thing
it!
Scar says to him is, the king is dead, and if it weren't for you, he'd still be alive. This implies that this is supposed to be Simba's fault because he was there and needed rescue. But
See, this is why I don't believe that if that musical number didn't exist, that he would know that Scar was trying to take over the Pride Lands, other than the fact that, like, he's clearly defined as a villain, I guess. If he doesn't understand why Simba thinks that it was his fault, then how am I supposed to... I don't believe you.
The only reason he was there is because Scar
He's
put him
confused.
there. Simba even offered to go with Scar to get his dad. Scar said no, just stay on this rock and practice your little roar.
It's funny that he even mentions the roar without even realizing that that's why he thought that.
Even a grieving
And he missed
8-year-old
he
idiot
missed
should
the
be
whole
able to figure out.
roar, echo, pan up, look up to the stampede. He missed that whole thing. The reason why I'm so fascinated by this is because, like, you never understand why he believes what he believes. You never understand, even once he justifies it. Even if he spends 10 minutes explaining something, it's still impossible to rationalize. Like, no one can possibly understand what is going through this guy's head.
They actually do
I can't
something
argue
to
with
this
that.
kid that's just as bad, if not worse, than what Scar did to him when he told him to run away. They convince him that if you've got problems, sweep them under the rug. You've got responsibilities? Shirk them. Ignore everything in your life and live like a lazy, stupid, selfish, greedy little bastard like we do.
Like, he doesn't carry that philosophy throughout the entire film. When he meets Rafiki, he understands that although there is some benefit to not dwelling on the past, you can also learn from the past rather than running from it. That is a part of the character's arc. That is a part of the character's growth. You cannot have an arc and you cannot have growth if the character, from the moment they are born, is the most perfect person in existence and has zero flaws. That is not possible. You cannot have an arc without the character being somewhat flawed
We've already
in the
gone over this.
beginning of the film.
Hang on a second.
Why
Hang
do
on a
you...
second.
Oh, hang on a second.
He says, hang on. He says when he meets Rafiki, Rafiki teaches him that although, you know, it's not good to dwell on the past, you can learn from it. I agree. Timon and Pumbaa told him the opposite. They told him to run from his problems. He was making there. No, I agree that Rafiki taught him to do the right thing and Timon and Pumbaa taught him to do the wrong thing. That's what he said is exactly the same as what I said. That's all, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, moving on.
Okay.
want all films to have main characters that never go
Not
through
all
arcs?
films
Why do you
have-
want all films
We don't want all
to be
films
bullshit?
to be that.
Let me ask you a question, Lion King fans. If the only salvageable point to this film is that you shouldn't shirk your responsibilities and shouldn't sweep your problems under the rug, why does Hakuna Matata get its own song? Why is Hakuna Matata portrayed in a positive light in that song?
Perhaps there's a bit of nuance. Perhaps you shouldn't worry about every single thing that bothers you. But also, perhaps there's a bit more depth to it. And in certain situations, when your entire fucking society needs you, that you shouldn't just run from your problems and accept your own role.
Wait, there was no nuance in what Timon and Pumbaa told him. There was no nuance. Fuck everything.
This is why this is frustrating. What's the nuance? It's because of nuance. Okay, what's the nuance? They said they taught him Hakuna Matata. They never learned otherwise. See, that's the thing. He keeps on talking about an arc. What was Timon and Pumbaa's arc? They never said, "Oh, we were wrong about Hakuna Matata, or maybe we were going too far." Blah blah blah. They were Hakuna Matata in the beginning, and they were Hakuna Matata in the end. I don't know what arc he's talking about. I don't know what nuance he's talking about. There's no nuance in Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata is very, very
straightforward.
direct.
It was very straightforward, and there was no and most importantly, there was no nuance in what they were teaching him. They didn't eventually say, you know what, maybe it's a good idea to not take everything so seriously, but we also want to have response. No, there was nothing like that. There was fuck everything, and then Rafiki came along and said, don't fuck everything, go do what you need to do.
Yeah, and he even attributed that to Rafiki, so I don't know what arc he's talking about.
Either.
What? I have no idea. Okay.
Me either. Okay, good.
As king and try to help things. Perhaps there's a bit of nuance in this story that you're not picking up on. I bet he liked the remake more. Because in the remake, they flat out say, like, Hakuna Matata, that's bad. There's, like, no nuance to it in the remake.
I haven't seen the remake. Dan, I actually have to pee. So if you'd like to come on mic and say what you thought of the remake real quick, and if you liked it more than the original, please do. I will be back in 2 minutes.
Hang on. Before you go, I got to tell you something.
Go ahead.
We're going to have to go ahead and stop it here. I don't really think there's going to be much value in watching the rest of this anyway, because this isn't...
There's only 10 minutes more. There's only 10 minutes more.
I don't have 10 minutes.
Well, then I'll just continue myself.
Okay. Okay. So I'll talk about what I thought of the remake, and then I'll let you continue.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm gonna go off mic for a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Here's what I thought of the remake. In my opinion, the writers and artists and everyone in between who made the original Lion King set out to make a good original story. And I think they missed the mark in a lot of respects. A lot of respects that go to the core of whether or not that movie was going to work. So they just missed. But they did try to make a piece of art. The remake actually fixed just about every problem that I had with the original Lion King. And even though that is the case, I feel like I said this at the beginning. I feel like I've said all of this a million times. Even though that is the case and they fixed everything that I thought was wrong with the original, I'd still rather watch the original because the remake was artistically bankrupt. There is no reason for it to exist. It doesn't look as good. It doesn't sound as good. The music isn't as good. Some of the music is just recycled from the original with just a new vocals, but the same backing track. Like, it was a very strange film.
Okay, I'm back.
It made no impact whatsoever on me, and the original is much more. It has much more artistic integrity. I would still rather watch the original, problems and all.
Okay, moving on.
Okay.
They literally just say, like, life is meaningless.
So then Simba grows up, and then we see that he grows up, and what's more, you give him all the personality of tepid pudding. You establish this kid as a little asshole and then turn him into a vegetable without any justification for the move? He didn't grow, he didn't change, he just rebooted. This character is the way he is for reasons totally unrelated to this character.
Now he's mad that, like, he's not still an asshole that he didn't like? Now he's mad that he's not the character that he was just complaining
I'm
about
still
for the
here, by
first
the way.
half of the review?
Why did we...
No, Adam, he's mad that didn't go anywhere. He's mad that didn't go anywhere. Sorry.
even need to watch the first third? Why didn't you just start the film right here?
I mean, based on the other examples of Disney movies you gave, I can see why you think that.
The good ones?
You want a character to not
I'm
have
still
any...
behind you. I think you probably said this already. No, I'm not mad that he's still an asshole. I'm mad that him being an asshole had nothing
Yes,
to
I
do
said that.
with the last 2/3 of the film. Okay.
flaws or any growth or anything whatsoever, right? You want it to start out as 16-year-old Ariel or however old Belle or
That would have
however
been a
old
lot better
Aladdin,
than what they did.
right? You don't want to see them grow as a
He
character.
didn't stop saying grow as
Isn't
a
this a
character.
pretty picture? We've got both the protagonist and the antagonist
Sitting
laying
around not doing anything.
not doing anything. Oh, and
That was basically his entire No Country for Old Men review. Was like, they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything.
He's seen the same things I've seen, and it certainly made an impression on me.
When? When did it make an impression on you? All you did when you got over there was just bumble around in the landscape with a deadpan expression on your
He
face.
said landscape.
It made no impression on you. You were just bored. Write characters. Then make them say things like that.
Oh
would
shit,
probably
I
be a huge
forgot
you know what?
about
There
that.
you go, Simba. There's a girlfriend. It's a love story now. That's
He's,
right, ladies and
he's,
gentlemen.
he's got me dead to rights on the No Country for Old Men.
I hadn't seen that in years, maybe a decade. It's funny. Okay, going on.
Like
Moving on.
Aladdin and Jasmine, who fell in love because, although they were both on opposite sides of the social field, they could relate to each other about feeling trapped in their lives. Or like Belle, who fell in love with the Beast because she saw the inner good in him, which made him see the inner good in himself and fall in love with her. Simba and Nala fall in love because they've had 3 seconds of screen time together.
Did you miss the entire part where they were friends as children?
That has nothing to do with this part of the movie. They're two characters that are fundamentally disconnected from who they were as children. We didn't see any of that. They're brand new characters from this part. That has nothing to do with this.
Because who wants to see a story about someone having to...
Again, the whole thing about Simba and Nala growing up as children, I addressed in the re-review.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been talking about this movie my entire life.
This is the
Simba
curse of being
and...
known for something.
Yeah, I know, it's being cursed for known for this one thing that I did. Simba and Nala were children together. They didn't grow up together. They grew up apart. Your childhood friend, if you've been gone, if you knew them as kids, stopped knowing them as kids, and then were introduced to them as an adult, that would be a completely different person.
And
that
they are
is
completely
not,
different people
that,
here.
that maybe you would fall in love with that person, but the impetus would not be that you knew them as kids.
Correct.
That is
I think you're right about
no
that.
way.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, we're in the home stretch.
Okay.
get the girl when you can just drop one on him?
She didn't just show up. They hadn't seen each other in years.
Hi.
Wait, they hadn't seen each other in years, and then she just showed up. What do you mean she didn't just show up? She did.
Nala literally just showed up.
I know. Okay.
Who barely qualifies as a character as far as I'm concerned.
What is this person smoking?
What is this person smoking?
I said this after I saw the movie for the first time, and I think it's true even to today. You could just skip Rafiki's part and go right to Simba seeing his dad in the clouds, and it would be exactly the same.
Skipping Rafiki is honestly what it felt like in the remake.
I didn't see
Yeah.
the remake.
Why
I'm not gonna
is
watch the
Mufasa
No Country for Old Men
only
review right now.
appearing to Simba now? Why didn't he appear to him, oh, I don't know, when these two assholes were...
Do you think that Rafiki might have had something to do with it? When you were just asking why Rafiki would show up there, and you were saying that Mufasa could show up without Rafiki being there, and now you're saying, why does Mufasa show up now? Do you think that Rafiki might not have something to do with it?
What? What did he have to do with it? If there was an explanation for that, they sure didn't put it in the movie. At least as far as I can see.
Hang on, is he implying that Rafiki conjured Mufasa?
I have no idea.
Because
I
have heard, okay, when this and the re-review that I did came out, I got so many explanations for what that thing in the clouds were, and none of them are consistent. Some people said that Rafiki conjured him. Some of them said that Rafiki put his aura in the right way to where he could see Mufasa. Some people said that Mufasa didn't appear at all, that it was just in Simba's mind. Some people said that it was just in his mind because Rafiki somehow, I guess Rafiki was like a psychologist and trained his mind. So I mean, is he actually saying that Rafiki conjured Mufasa?
I mean, it's a valid thing, but it's kind of like a Rorschach test. It's a valid thing to think, but it's not valid to say that was obvious, because to me, it just didn't make any sense of why that happened. I mean, it could have happened for any number of reasons, as you just said. The movie was unclear about that.
Sure, and there's a way to do that right, and there's a way to do that wrong, and I think this movie did that wrong.
I agree. Moving on.
Because we had not seen any supernatural anything in that entire movie ever.
Right.
And that was the only time it happened, and it was left completely unexplained. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily bad, but it kind of is in this movie.
I mean,
the rules of the Aladdin world were very clear. You've got a genie, and he's omnipotent, and he can do anything, and there's magic in this land, so genies is magic. There are mermaids, and so there's this undersea... Mufasa appearing in the clouds has no impetus whatsoever in that film. So...
I agree. I think that I actually like it more when magic is mysterious and unexplained, and when there isn't all these hard and fast rules for it. I guess it wasn't magic, but spirituality or whatever. You know what I mean? But you have to have some grounding for why this thing is happening. Otherwise, you can have any number of things be true, including.
If you don't. Or if you don't, you need to have that experience be actually magical instead of just obtuse. It was a nice scene. It was really well animated. As far as I know, it was like an 11th hour scene. They really went back and forth as to whether or not they were going to do the thing in the clouds. It was, I guess it was based on the story of Moses, the burning bush, and they didn't know whether or not they were actually going to do that. I think that was something that was added really late, or conceptually it came in.
Interesting. Okay.
It was,
5 minutes.
This is not appreciably different from any other response I've seen, so let's just get this over with.
Sure. Okay.
5 more minutes. Okay.
Got it.
I really felt like Scar told you guys that both Mufasa and Simba were killed in the stampede.
That's why they're confused!
And seeing Simba alive here kind of
No, why would they be confused? They would be incredulous.
Scar told you guys that both Mufasa and Simba were killed in a stampede, and now he's trying to turn it around and say that Simba was responsible, which really contradicts his original story. What does Simba's mom say to him when she hears this? It's not true. Tell me it's not true.
Well, because Simba's fucking playing along with it. Simba's reacting to it as though it's true. And they're looking at him being oh, tell me it's not true. Because they're seeing him going along with it.
No, Adam, don't have a heart attack. That makes sense, or that doesn't make any sense, because they wouldn't be saying, tell me it's not true. They would be saying, that's impossible. It doesn't matter if Simba's going along with it. They would know that that's impossible.
Yeah. So they would have the wherewithal to know that when Simba supposedly killed Mufasa somehow, he was a little cub. So... How did he do this? How did he kill Mufasa?
In any universe that makes sense, they would have looked at Scar and said, "What the fuck have you said to this kid? And what the fuck did you do?" They wouldn't have even. Nobody would even entertain
the jig was up.
Yes, the jig was up. Exactly. Why are they acting like it's plausible that he was actually responsible for Mufasa's death? How?
And because Simba believes that, right?
Yeah.
for reasons that I've explained already.
Okay.
They're looking at Simba saying, please tell me it's not true.
But they wouldn't do that. They'd say it's impossible.
Fuck.
Stupid.
No, not right.
One of these lions is even remotely curious as to how a 2-pound cub could have possibly been responsible for the death of a 600-pound lion.
That's why they're saying, tell me it's not true.
But that's not what they would say. They'd say that's impossible. Sorry.
They're not even going to ask? Of course not.
They
Because
said
if they
it!
did ask, the writers
No,
would
they
have to-
didn't!
Hey, you know, now that you mention it, Scar did smack me across the world when I said I was going for help, and yet somehow I never put the pieces together.
He got knocked out, you
Yeah.
No!
But now
No, Adam, he got knocked out by Scar. He would remember that.
that you mention it, yeah, this is Scar's fault. Okay, come on, guys, let's get at him. This is the Lion King, so now the writers are going to wrap this thing up, not with any kind of moral or lesson, but with violence. So they fight, 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 fight.
What was the moral in Beauty and the Beast that you loved so much that didn't end in violence? Beauty and the Beast ended in violence? What do you mean? What was the moral there?
Nowhere. What the hell are those two doing cheering?
I'm behind you. I'd like to address the he got knocked out thing.
Hold on 1 second. Let me just say one thing. Beauty and the Beast didn't end in violence. Beauty and the Beast ended with the Beast turning back into his real self. The getting rid of the threat ended in violence, but Beauty and the Beast did not end in violence. No.
No. I haven't caught up to that. He's right about that. The Lion King ended with a big violent battle, but then it ended with a nice thing of Simba taking his place.
I agree
Beauty
with
and the
you,
Beast
but
ended with a violent showdown between between the Beast and Gaston, but then it actually ended with a nice little I actually think he's right about that. I have a question about he got knocked out.
Uh-huh.
Is Adam saying that he got brain damage or amnesia? Or
No.
he had that one moment that he doesn't remember, but he remembers everything else about the situation?
I don't think so. Let me say something about the ending in violence thing. When I say The Lion King ended in violence and Beauty and the Beast didn't, it's because the entire solution to the problem at the end of the movie was a violent conflict that really wouldn't have taken place because Scar knew that he was physically inferior to Simba. So I thought it actually would have been cool for him to really just go away and be in exile and live with the hyenas or something. I thought that fight was stupid. Beauty and the Beast ended with the way that it ended at the end, where the guy there was a resolution to things that which there wasn't really at the end of The Lion King, other than the
No, that's true.
Nice
no, that's true. I didn't say any of that in this review. I said they ended it with violence. Again, I did a much better job, I think, of explaining. I said everything basically that you just said in the re-review, which he's not watching. I don't even know if he's ever seen it or if he has any interest.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay,
let's do this.
fair enough. We're almost done.
Up there, they didn't do anything. They're partially responsible for what happened to Pride Rock since they're the ones who were holding Simba back this whole time.
What?
You know what? Fuck this. Take them out of there. That's better. It turns out there were actually two.
They saved his
anyone who
life.
tells you to turn
They
your back on
saved
the
his
world is
fucking
your
life.
friend. And two,
I can't even say that I was like that familiar with like the whole review. I'd only watched like the first part so many times. Also, remember this is from 2008. And although I'm sure Confused Matthew has not changed his perspective on whether or not he enjoys The Lion King, who knows? Maybe he's not so terrible at communicating his opinions now. I don't know.
Are you less terrible at communicating your opinions?
I don't know if I'm any better or worse at communicating my opinions or not. That's up to anybody who listens to me. I have absolutely no idea. I think I did a better job of communicating how I feel about The Lion King and why I feel the way I did in the re-review. And he might like that a little better, maybe. But I have absolutely no idea. What I got from this response, first of all, that was really, really hilarious. Look at what a good sport I am, haha. No, it really was. What I got from this review was Simba is the way he is because reasons, so that makes it okay. I am wrong to say that Simba being the way he was as a kid was bad because that was an arc, but he didn't say what the arc was. Same with Timon and Pumbaa. There was an arc. Didn't say what the arc was. I am wrong to say that Timon and Pumbaa were holding him back the whole time because they saved his life. Imagine a scenario where two villains saved the life of a hero and then just exploited them for the rest of the film. You can make the exact same argument. Well, they saved his life, so again, he's free to think this. That's fine. Wonderful. Absolutely. I'm glad that I inspired him to make a spite store, because I know that he's doing very, very well. I didn't think that anything he said in that video, entertaining and incredulous though it might be, was really all that valuable. I don't know what to say to that. If he's ever watching this, and I'm sure he's not, I'm sorry you didn't like the review.
I'm sure he's sorry that you didn't care for the movie. Okay, that's gonna have to do it. I gotta get out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. The 20 people fluctuating that have been in here. I used to make videos on this channel. I don't really anymore. I'm thinking of doing it again. If you'd like to subscribe and leave a thumbs up, maybe I'll do some more stuff in the future. I plan to kind of live stream video games for a while just to get people interacting with the channel again, and yeah, there might be some things to come in the future, and Dan and I will be playing video games together on this channel sometimes, so stop on by and maybe you can talk to Confused Matthew.